Good morning, and we'd like to welcome you to the BlackUSA.News morning show. My name's Donnie Glover here with the one and only Teresa Davis. Good morning, Queen. How are you?
I'm fabulous this morning. Good morning, guys.
9/11 just went by. What were you doing 20 years ago?
Oh wow, I was in bed and I didn't even know it happened till like 3 hours later.
You slept through 9/11.
Woke up, was like devastated.
That's because you was probably shooting a movie all night.
Actually, I was writing then. I was writing a book.
What
Uh-huh.
book?
I was writing. It hasn't came out yet. I don't know if I can say it on the air, but White Liver.
Come on, Teresa. This is family oriented.
Hey, that's what I was writing.
Okay. Lord have mercy. Okay, you're a filmmaker. What films are you making now?
I'm currently doing a web series called Kicking Indoors.
You playing 5-0, I hear.
Yeah, I play Corporal Shaka, no nonsense cop who has a problem with her hands.
Oh, she's a batterer.
Yeah, I like to rough people up in the city. I rough them up. I'm a good cop in a good way, but you can get out on me and I can handle it right there in the streets. I like to take court in the streets.
Now, you from Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore City, born and raised, East Side. I know my way
What part
around
of
though.
East Side?
Patterson
Some
Park.
people say East Side, and they all in Parkville somewhere.
Oh no. East Side, straight in the hood, Patterson Park and Preston Street. That's where I'm from. But I'm all over the place. But that's where I'm originally from.
Oh, my first memories of Patterson Park and Landville,
Yeah, that's up the street from where I grew up.
up the block.
Yeah, I used to party up at what was that place? Up there, the Federal Lounge.
Oh Lord, I remember the Federal Lounge
You do? Okay. Yeah.
back in the
East,
'60s.
yeah, East Side. It's now just a shell. It's boarded up. Another gentrified area that's gonna be gentrified very soon. It's climbing that way.
So, what made you do Kicking Indoors? I mean, especially in a city like Baltimore, you consider the consent decree. You consider how many people from East Baltimore, West Baltimore, who are incarcerated. You consider all of the prisons on Green Map. What you got? Diagnostic,
hmm
penitentiary, city jail, central booking,
hmm
Supermax, the Fishbowl.
Yeah, the new juvenile center they just built. hmm Ready for your kids. Yeah, they ready.
What made you do this 5-0 type of show?
Okay, this show depicts what's behind people's door, and it surrounds four cops, so it's their life in between. But I really wanted to show how the cops interact with civilians. That's what my mindset was when I started the show. So I showed the behavior with the inner city cops, with the people. They know their names. They know who they are. They let them slide. They sometimes don't. They rob them when they feel like robbing them. And I witnessed this in my neighborhood. So I say I want to show it. Yeah.
Have you ever witnessed a person being released because they went and got a gun?
Oh yeah. Exchange. Yeah. For fair robbery. That's what I call it. You got a gun? You give me a gun, come back. I let you go. You give me a gun. Because that gun could carry value for the police officer. It may be a murder on it, maybe bodies on it, may not, but they want that gun. They let them go. Just like they got the CIs. They let them snitch, let them go. No different than that. Yeah.
You mentioned East Baltimore, you mentioned cops, you mentioned guns. What comes to my mind is Destiny Harrison.
Who's
She
that?
had a beauty salon, and I believe it was December 2020. She was killed in her beauty salon
I
in
know.
front of her baby.
I remember the story.
They've not
Yep.
found the killer to my knowledge.
I'm not sure, but they saying in the news was implicating that it was someone that she knew that frequented, you know, the area. She knew him. That's
Well,
what they.
I'm guessing not this weekend past, but 2 weekends ago, there was a shooting. Sam Nan was arrested. He shot himself and 2 other people. And what I'm getting to is they found him in 2 days because it happened out Towson.
Oh, ha, you didn't say that part.
But black people are getting killed. And you're supposed to be my best friend, Jack. I'm on there. So you got people getting shot with no, they don't find the killer. So what that means is you got killers walking the streets.
Yeah, it all depends on where you live at. They're gonna find you or not. Some of these,
But they not. I mean, it's like the homicide detectives are overworked, undermanned. Cops are quitting. I mean, right now, people slinging dope in front of the cops, smoking blunts in front of the cops, and it's almost like the cops can do nothing.
Do you frequent North Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue? Have you been past?
It's just up the block from me.
Well, you just described it. They get high. They make exchanges in front. So I film in that area a lot. That area right there. That's like the staple of this movie. That's the backdrop of the movie right there. And that's a lot with the COVID going on. You know, you got to stay masked up when you're up. It's like they don't even wear masks. But I've watched cops sit there and watch them literally exchange, do drug exchanges and, you know, get high and do absolutely nothing. And it makes
in front of the cops.
But it makes me wonder, are they under investigation? What's going on? And nobody's getting locked up. It's like a ungated community that just get high, if you will, like just one section. And
Last night, a cat told me that my neighborhood is actually the modern day Amsterdam from the wire.
Wow, you were told
Pennsylvania Avenue. They say Pennsylvania Avenue is the modern day Amsterdam from the wire.
Well, I got a lot of actors. Let me turn this off from that area that are actual drug users who say, Teresa, I want to be in your film. They walk up to me and they just the nicest people they can be. And some of them really can act. I mean, head on, dead on, they can act. They up there doing their thing. In the middle of acting, they say, wait a minute. Sometimes they say, wait, hold on. I gotta do something real quick. They go do what they gotta do, and then they come back. I just sit there, wait patiently. And then they give me what I want. They can really act. They can. And they never ever been put in a position to act. So it's like beautiful to them. Like, I'm acting today. And you know, mind you now, I do use a cell phone. I use a iPhone. I shoot 4K. It does the same thing as my cameras. And they love it. They love it.
So, Teresa, I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with your work. I love the fact that you've taken a cell phone, well, an iPhone, and you have made movies. And I've heard about this, but I've seen you. Well, I haven't seen you edit, but I know you do it all.
Yeah.
With that iPhone, and it's so inspiring to me because it's a reminder that somebody mentioned to me earlier about Booker T. Washington and said, cast down your buckets where you are. Do what you can. Do what you can with what you have.
Right.
Where did this mentality come from?
Now, I gravitated to the cell phone because I used to use Nikons. I had 2 of them, and then I had a lot of things that go with the Nikon. But the Nikon is it's hard to use. It takes a lot of work. And let's say a shot coming by and I really want that shot. Just something spontaneous. I got to set the shot up, be ready for the shot, internally work with the camera itself because it's an internal camera. As with other cameras, they work on the outside. The Nikon is a lot more difficult. It works on the inside. So I got to set up all these different things. And I said, this is ridiculous. I could have got that shot. So I started using my phone and just transferring the phone to my computer to add to my Nikon shots. And I was like, hold up. I could just use my cell phone. Then I take the I take the camera places, and they say, oh, you can't film in here with that camera. I'm like, what? But that person right there is using their cell phone. Well, you can film anything with your cell phone in public, but you can't film with that camera in here. It's the idea of the camera. We don't want to see the camera in. People don't like to see the camera. So I started using my cell phone, and I was able to get great shots in places that they weren't even worried about it. They didn't bother me, didn't say anything to me. And so it became a habit. Next thing I know, I started buying accessories to the cell phone. There are a lot of accessories to the cell phone to film with. There are classes on YouTube to teach you how to film with your cell phone, and that's why a lot of people are gearing toward the cell phone. It's a lot easier, it's a lot lighter. It's just quick. You're not shots that you didn't even know you're going to get, spontaneous things like that.
So, we like to welcome you to this network. We've grown to the point, and I'm posting it now. We now have shows 7 days a week, right here. Our newest show just started yesterday. Let me put it up for you. Right there, 60 Minutes in Black USA with Michael Haney. So, taking a page out of your book, we're using what we do have to further promote, our own stuff. Because honestly, the mainstream media, there you go right there. Do you know Michael Haney?
No, I don't.
Well,
is he on?
He's a superstar. As a matter of fact, come on in, Haney. Say hello. Give us an update. He just got back from Uganda and Kenya.
Ooh.
Have you thought? So I know you have shot your show before in New York. I think you took DC, Richmond.
Yeah.
What about Africa?
I would love to go to Africa. You just don't know. When you just said that, like, something went through me. I'm just like, it's so beautiful. The terrain, the animals, them shots, the water.
I don't play with animals, baby. I got a dog that's good enough for me. I'm going to stay inside the truck. Now, y'all go over there and mess with them lines if you want to. I'm going to be in the truck.
No, don't go mess with them. You zoom out with that camera. Don't get out the car now.
Well, let me tell you, make sure you got good zoom. Don't be one of the people, let me get a little closer.
Nah.
They are lions. We were in Tanzania. There was lions on one side and the gazelles on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Lions on one side, gazelles on the other.
Gazelles are a fast animal.
Everybody got to run fastest. If the lion don't run the fastest, he don't eat. If the gazelle don't run the fastest, he don't live.
Did you watch a lion eat a gazelle? Were you able to see that?
I think I saw a chase. For me, I wasn't gonna stick around for that. Tasmania, come on in if you can. This is a family affair. Fix your headroom, Michael Haney. Well, a little bit there. How you doing, Mr. Haney?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Come on, man. Get up. We got a dynamic lady right here. This lady shoots movies with an iPhone, man. And she just
Well, that's our next step, Donnie, to be in that light. So, it's amazing that you have her on. We got off to an excellent start with the Sunday show, because the purpose and hopefully mantra of Black News USA is to take it across the country. We've already been in Africa broadcasting this. As Donnie and I talked yesterday, every major city is my goal, in partnership with Donnie and the rest of the team, to have in place before the end of this year. As Donnie has always said, communications among the masses of Black people is critical to us beginning to get a Black footprint and agenda here in the United States that's real.
Wow. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you this morning, Mr. Michael.
Very nice meeting you, too. Very nice meeting you, Miss Davis.
So can you tell me about, wow, I'm still stuck on that. The broadcasting in Africa, what's that like?
Well, it was amazing. The 7-hour difference was nothing to overcome. The people there participated. We even did a African drum concert live there as well. We were actually in Uganda when we shot but it was an amazing experience. Matter of fact, I'll be going back over there, broadcasting again, but this time from Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, and I'll be in Ghana as well for a month in February.
Wow.
So to take it worldwide is compelling. Yesterday's show featured Maxwell Adusi, who has taken over 10,000 Americans over to Africa to see where our ancestral heritage begun and to see where we left Africa to come to the U.S. I believe that educating, unless we understand where we came from, we cannot properly complete a roadmap of where we're going. And so the inaugural show talked about and educated, hopefully, African Americans in terms of their heritage and where they came from and why it's so important for us to have a foundation, a bridge to Africa as we begin to lay out an agenda of real change here. Because in my 60 plus years, we keep going back over the same issues: law, race, education, their lack of. And it's because I believe we don't, and our children don't, understand our history and heritage in order to, really move forward.
I got you. Wow.
So Teresa, I wanted to get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
This crime series that you're doing, Kicking Indoors, and Michael Haney might make a good actor for the show. We've already got Greg Branch in there,
Yeah.
but tell me a little bit more about Kicking Indoors. Why you decided to do a television show on the cops and their relationship with the people in the community. Tell me a little bit more.
So, excuse me. So, I think people like to come to Baltimore and mimic what they think we do. So, I'm a Baltimorean, and I live in the trenches. I know what we do, and I know I can show you better than some people try to. They try to skim. You ever heard they skim off the top? You know what we're talking about. Skim a little off the top of what we do. I'm gonna give you the core of what we do. I'm gonna give you how it's done, what I've seen through my eyes, what I've watched, and I watched the police interact with the civilians, because you and I and Mr. Michael, we're all civilians to the police. So I want to show you how they interact with us, how they interact with the drug users. I want to talk. We also touch bases on mental illness. We touch bases. A big part of it is on the opiate use here in Baltimore. We're failing the people when it comes down to the opiate use.
Don't forget fentanyl, because you did a
Yeah,
segment specifically on fentanyl.
right. Fentanyl, the opiate use, all types of drugs. Farmer is getting paid for. Pharmaceuticals are making billions of dollars off of our illnesses, and I want to show that throughout the film. So I show a lot about recovery, those type of things, recovery, relapse. I also show some great stories when people actually make a U-turn and turn this thing around. But a lot of it is crass, it's valve to a lot of people. They think that they like, why do you film so much valve and crass things like that? Well, I just film what I see. And I'm sort of like with your book. I'm unapologetically sorry about that, because this is what I know. This is what I see. So I'm going to bring forth what I see. A lot of
So,
it's about mhm,
but
what's behind doors. Like, we all have our privacy, but when the officer comes in, I show what's behind the door, whether it's a loaded gun, whether it's big boxes of fentanyl stacked up, whether there's a woman bagging up drugs, whether there's pedophilia, whatever's behind that door, we show what's behind the doors. So every week is a different story, but the stories about the cops, the stories are surrounded by the cops' lives.
now,
From
Teresa, so
Say that again.
your show is on YouTube. Tasmania from New York was asking, where can people see the show?
Well, we may put it on platform. We're not decided on which one, but there are plenty of platforms to choose from. We're about to do that part now because season 1 is done. So now we're on to season 2. And what I did differently this time, instead of putting it right on YouTube, I kind of held it in my vault this time. And I want to choose where to put it because there's a lot of things happening with the COVID-19, Delta variant, all these different strands. I don't know what's going to happen. We don't, none of
Okay,
us knows what's.
okay, but the first season is on YouTube under Kicking Indoors.
No, the first season is not out yet. We haven't decided what platform. We're doing that now, choosing where we want to go, making sure it's not that easy to say, hey, I want to put it on Netflix. Boom. Hey, I want to put it on prime time. It doesn't go like that. You have to fill out the applications and make sure that you have all your background, all that stuff done, all the people names, people who played in it, all the locations secured, all that stuff's supposed to be done. They come along with the applications, you know. So we're filling out where we want to put it. We don't know just yet, but it'll be soon though, because we finished season 1. I put it in the vault. That's what I call it. I put it to the side and I went on to season 2 so that when I do put it in whatever platform that we choose, it's all ready to go because of what was happening in our world, meaning the COVID-19 and things like that.
Well, I just want you to know, Michael Haney, Pharaoh is in Kicking Indoors, and I'm going to be having his lawyer contact Ms. Davis because, you know, we ready to see him on the television.
He make you want to stand up. You know, this man's something else, right? I love him. Pharaoh, I'll tell you a little about Pharaoh. He is an awesome dog. You know, he's a police dog.
You talking about Pharaoh?
Yeah, yeah, he's a police dog, and he listens very well. He came on that, and at first he was a little you know, touchy, and only person could deal with him was yourself, and because I wasn't gonna mess with him, and then he kind of got, you know, cool with everything, looking around, and he did his job. He was to sniff out something, to go in there and sniff out police dog, you know, and he did that. But you know, Mr. Glover said, "Hey, in order for my dog to do this, he needs some chicken
You gotta
tenders."
pay him. Gotta pay him.
So yeah, he got chicken tenders.
Then he got another request. The next time you call him, he wants a female German Shepherd there. But I'm gonna go on to the next thing. So Mr. Haney was fascinating about Teresa. You if you think movies is her claim to fame, that's just one of them. You see her hair?
Oh yeah, my hairstyle is by trade. That's what I did. It's my career.
I mean, the real stuff, the old school, what we grew up on, Mike. You know, girl go to the beauty salon every 2 days. She made ugly women look pretty, bro.
Wow. I love your style. I love your style. You did that yourself?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
But
I
also,
in the east side doing hair, but I came across a lot of well, I'm going to share with you, especially you, Mr. Michael, because you don't know me. I don't know if he knows this, but I the salon I worked in was placed is in the east side, and it was a lot of people who were drug users, and they used to come to me and say, Teresa, I just want to feel good, and so I did their hair. But a lot of my coworkers, which I won't name, I'm not that person, but they didn't want to touch them. They was like, I don't want to do her hair. I'm like, why? I was like, oh, she's so dirty. And I'm like, man, it made me feel so good to turn them around the chair and just place that mirror in their face and they could see that smile. And sometimes they would cry. It's a good feeling.
you
It's
can
a good feeling. No,
I
I'm
ain't
not.
never
I'm
cried.
gonna drink my tea.
Also, Mike, I told you she has shot her show not just in Baltimore, but Richmond, D.C., and New York.
And
So,
ATL,
huh?
don't leave
Wow.
out ATL. They'll kill me. ATL.
Who?
So,
ATL.
so how were the police receptive, or did the police not know what you were doing in terms of filming them? How did
Next
they
year,
take
me
that?
on green matter and a cop uniform. I'm looking around like this. I hope they don't run up on me. Got a little plastic gun. Get ready to get me locked up for impersonating the police officer. Hey, Mike Haney, you got to watch it hanging with the old girl here.
Oh
She
man.
have you in a situation. You don't play with police, man.
The answer to your question, man, you'd be surprised. A lot of those people know the cops. They know them by name and they know each other by name. One said, hey, I would like to be in it. You're gonna see him in here too with his uniform on. I said, "Can you do this with your uniform?" He's like, "I want to get in this." So I don't want to give away the movie, but he plays in it. Then I have some real officers who play in the movie who really like what we're doing, showing the opposite, showing how we really interact. And they say, "You're doing a good job, Teresa. This is how it goes." So I like to ask people.
So let me shift gears for a second.
Yeah.
Let me just shift gears for a second. You like to ask people what? I'm sorry. Come on.
No. I like to ask people who know what they're doing. Like I would come to you, Mr. Donnie, for anything like social ills. If I had an idea and I want to ask you something, because you know that stuff, political things. You're very well rounded. So I go to the source, and so I asked the cop, "Am I doing this right?" He said, "Oh yeah, this is what happens." Because he's a cop, and he said to me, "Teresa, I don't want to play a cop. Can I play a drug user?" And he killing it. He killing it.
And you also got some scenes coming up with in the prisons.
Yes.
Why
Mr.
is that
Barlow.
so captivating?
It is. It's dark. What do you think, Michael? When I saw your head go like this when he said prison, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that it's compelling a story from prison. Donnie had a guest that actually did a very little bit of time, but any time in that environment, even the 2 weeks that he spent in there, is something that if you haven't been there, you can't relate to. I
Right.
remember when I was in DC and I spent 24 hours as a result of something I did in the park there, and it felt like forever
Did it? I was in holding for a minute.
because there was nothing to do and nowhere to go, and with someone controlling your life, telling you when to eat, when to go to the bathroom.
Hmm.
24 hours at the age of 19 was enough for me to understand what 30 years or 25 to life may be. And I'm
Right.
not trying to understand.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what that's like. I don't want to be like, man, people are actually glorifying prison and jail because jail is just waiting to go to prison, but people get it confused. But yeah,
Well,
so
it's a matter of ego. It's a matter of ego and insecurity that makes someone that has been there want to glorify because what other story do they have to tell?
right, right. It is not glorified. I stayed in holding overnight and let me go. I got a warning for what I did back then. You don't get warnings for now. You go to see a judge. So yeah, he let me go and all that good stuff. But I have that memory right here. I know that's not where I want to be. I'm a free spirited person. I like to be outside. I like to go outside. And people give up these privileges for a mere just to sell drugs or I don't get ahead or whatever it is they got. They don't have a job. They don't have any skills. They risk these things every day of their life. And to them, that's a regular thing.
So let me shift gears for a second, Mike. In your experiences in Africa, is that the norm? Is it? Are there certain communities? And of course, you talk 54 countries, and you haven't been to all 54. But do you hear people over in Africa talking about, yeah, boy, I was over to jail like 10 years. Is there a different kind of humility?
Donnie, I believe so, but what I saw in my brief 2.5 weeks over there was more the political aspects of prisoners, right? Even though I'm sure the crime aspect of it was huge too, but those are sometimes mortars, the ones that go for political aspects of prison, particularly with all the tribal strife that's over there, because it's not that they don't have issues either, it's just that their issues are all black. There's one place that you can go and not be afraid of being black, and that's to Africa. But it doesn't mean that there are other issues and situations that don't go on that we can identify with, like police who stop you when you leave the airport and they want their $5. They get out of bed to get their $5 because that's part of their corruption system.
Oh, you don't know about that,
It's not
Teresa?
like,
Oh, I can
If you're over
imagine.
there in Africa and the Middle East, you may travel a road in your vehicle during the daytime and nobody says anything. On your way back to town, you see a makeshift stake and two guards. One of them got that AK, and they talking about this here.
Oh, so they
You got
exploiting people. Mm-hmm.
Extort, you call it what you want. You don't pay that money, you ain't going no further.
So they
Call it what
doing.
you want. It's the
They
tax.
cops are doing here. Like the cops will watch you sell drugs. Hey, you can sell drugs, but where's my cut? So that's no different than here. Like everybody got a scam or a Ponzi, something. They got something they doing, and they risk their jobs for it every day. They're doing a story now. HBO is doing a story on Herschel. Have you ever heard the police call Herschel in Baltimore?
White boy.
He was a cop. He was a cop that would chase you down, run you down, chase you down, dig in your pockets. So we show that kind of stuff. If they're doing a show on him, that's based on him too. What they're doing here, in HBO. HBO is shooting it now in Baltimore. So they come here, they get our stories. But I'm glad that they're using some of our Baltimoreans to be actors in their shows.
We, we want to get. We want you to get some of our lawyers, including Neil Dubo of the old law. He's down the bottom. J. Wendell Gordon. I'm sure J. Wendell Gordon would love being in your series, especially when we get this thing live, Teresa. We need to see. I had a guy, Barack Obama came to Baltimore in '08.
Mm-hmm.
This was my editor at the time. I ain't gonna say his name, but he gave me the clip of Obama in Baltimore like 5 months later. It's kind of irrelevant. So we gotta get this thing. You can get it on Roku, for instance, Teresa.
Yeah, you can a lot. You can do the Tubi, because right now we have something on Tubi called The Psychic. I played The Psychic, and that's on Tubi. There's a lot of things on Tubi. I work with Silk White. You know, I co-direct a lot of things, and a lot of our things are on Tubi. So we don't know exactly where we want to put it at yet. I don't like to count my chickens for they hatch. I want to make sure that I have everything in place. There's a lot of nudity in this web series that I'm doing, as opposed to my last web series, Julian's Big Mistake. You can see that on YouTube. Let your listeners and viewers know you can see that on YouTube.
Under what? Hold on, Teresa. Teresa, you see what I got to go through, like Julian's Big Mistake.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. You play in that. Remember you had a scene in that. You probably don't remember when you had your party. You did a couple scenes in there. So with Julian Big Mistake,
I'm gonna have to have my lawyer go through all of your files.
He ready. Look, that's why I have him sign papers, Mr. Michael. Sign right here. Pow.
Got you signing all kinds of agreements.
You have to, because it could be anywhere. We could put it anywhere. You could be on TV and see yourself like, whoa, that's me. You could be at dinner. You could look it on YouTube. You can look on Instagram. That's a new TV now. So we're gonna see where we can put it at. You got Black TV. You got so many places you can put stuff at now.
So
Hey, Mr. Reese, can I ask you a question relative to that? You know, is there a subliminal message? Like we know when Spike Lee does this thing, you know, there's a message that we've got to figure out as a people. You go in the community, you take these videos, is it pure pleasure and attracting to people's desire and thirst for the negativity and understand a place that they may not go or never have been but are intrigued by? But is there a message to your madness or
Yeah.
to your filming? And
Yes.
what would that be, for instance, to the police picture?
Yes, sir. I show you that we all have choices, and I always have something that comes full circle. A lot of my content is about drug use, um, sometimes mental illness, and I always go back to
pickups, robberies, yes, and robberies.
yeah, and I always go back to a story like a choice, because we all have a choice. We got just one, all three of us. We have a choice. We got on here with you, Mr. Donnie. We have a choice, and I want to give some clarity. I don't like the. Don't get me wrong. People like it. They sign up for it. I'm not just a shoot 'em up, bang bang. So if you watch my movies, you'll say, "Oh, they was killing each other in there." No, you may drop a tear. You may say, "You know what? I'm going to get clean today." You may say, "This relapse is not where I want to be." Because I used to travel to Philadelphia. A lot of people don't notice about me, but I have a family member who was on drugs, real close to me. And, we're not shy about it, because the way you teach is that, you have to reveal some things. And I was allowed to sit in on a lot of their meetings. And I heard a lot of recovery stories, and I was able to talk to those people, and I was granted interviews, because I used to be a radio host as well, online radio host for about 3 years. So I was granted the opportunity of lifetime to talk to these people, and I found out why they use and what triggered them to use. So I just can't show you somebody pumping or banging up or whatever you want to call it, intravenously using drugs, without showing you a story with it, showing you that this person can change. Like I told you about the story that's real dear to me when I was doing hair. You know, those people shared their stories with Teresa Davis because I'm there in my chair and I become more than a hairdresser. I become a healer. I become a listener. If a person asks me for my advice, then I give it. But if they just want to dump in my lap, I take it because I don't know why God put me in that position, but that's what He chose for me. And I'm still doing it 30 something odd years later. I hear some beautiful stories and I hear some tragedies. And I share with my clients too. I share a lot.
So, so I want to get to some solutions. I've been reminded that we got to stay in the solution. You know, I can talk about the mayor not taking responsibility for the schools, but what's the solution? I can talk about Baltimore City Public Schools saying that they need more money, even though you pay two principals $4,000 over the past 2 years to stay home. What's the solution? What's some solutions? Mike, let's start with you, Mike. What's some solutions to Baltimore?
Well, so I believe it's the educational aspect, Donnie. It's, for me, I don't believe we've lost a generation, but I think we've lost an opportunity to be real about who we are. I think that, for us as a community of Black people in Baltimore, we don't understand our identity. We don't understand who we are. We're like lost people in the desert wandering because there's no foundation, which is part of the reason that we've begun to educate people that there is a home. It was remarkable when Maxwell said to us yesterday that Ghana invited Blacks in America to come home because we are kin, we are family.
Okay.
So we've come over here to America, and what history did we bring with us? What history have we established? And this is what continues to permeate throughout our community, where it's almost like we're a lost people. When you mentioned profoundly, Teresa, the police officer who wanted to do what? He wanted to play a drug dealer. You
Yeah.
know, how
Drug user.
compelling is that? A drug dealer, user. I know that you said that he wanted to be on the opposite side of the law.
Yeah, he wanted to show that he could tap into that as an actor, and he did so wonderfully. He did.
Because that's what he deals with all day long through our people, and that's the eyes of our people. There's a reason why our prison systems are dominated by our people. There's a reason why drug use, I won't say drug use is dominated by our people, but we have a heck of a lot more recovery stories of drug use in our community than I would like to see, happen. Why is it 60% of our young people can't read above the fourth grade level in Baltimore that graduate with a high school diploma? We
So what's
have
the
to
solution?
find ourselves.
We have Black
We
people.
have to find ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have Black people in charge of everything: mayor, comptroller, city council president, delegates, state senators, city council people, different agencies. We got Black people in charge of all of these things. Why does it seem like we're moving backwards as a community?
But Donnie, they're not in charge. They're not their own people. In Africa, you can see the same situation, the same political structure, and they may not be their own people either because special interests may dominate who they are because of money. But at least the special interest looks like you and I for the most part, even though China is beginning to have a heavy influence in Africa. But in this country, in politics, in 3 weeks, we're going to have a show with three mayors from across the country talking about urban issues of education, crime and justice, and economics. And we're going to ask them the questions of, are they their own people or person? Or are they just representing the special interests that dominate the environments that they come from? We have to find out who we are as a people and understand our history in order for us to begin to move forward and we don't get that because we refuse to acknowledge our history. What did you learn? Did you have African American studies, Donnie, when you were coming through elementary and high school? Or did you hear about Christopher Columbus?
Yeah, my African American study was my daddy, Donald Edward Glover. He used to bring me books
Yeah,
from as soon as I was
absolutely.
able to open up a book. So yeah, I got it at
But
home.
you understand what I'm talking to. The people that Teresa did hair for that may not have the in-depth knowledge that you have, they're not going home probably and teaching their kids what your daddy taught on a whole scale basis.
I think
A lot of times the parents don't know. I mean, I'm
yeah,
watching what's going on.
That's
Okay,
exactly what I
I
mean.
wasn't gonna say
Absolutely.
nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing. But I got a question for you. Teresa, you've seen it. Michael, I bet you have not seen it. Why is it people are putting every song, Teresa, Coke, Smack, Scramble?
hmm
It's a Baltimore hip hop song.
hmm
Coke. It's a Coke, Smack, Scramble, or something
yeah,
like that. Coke, Smack, Dope.
yeah. That's Little Scooter, the late great Little Scooter.
Why are we playing this song at Kitty Bird parties? What
Why?
mentality does this?
Well, let me ask you. I want to switch gears. Let me
No,
ask
no,
you
no,
this.
no, 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 no. Don't shift
No,
gears because you're Aries.
well,
I
I'm not
know you.
gears, but let me tell you, Little X Nas. To piggyback what you're saying, it's supposed to be on the next coming award show, and they've already announced this that he's going to be naked. Why is this happening? Why?
Because we allow it. We
Why?
allow it, and we need
Why?
to shut down any network. Is this the boy
Yes,
in the dress? The boy in the
yes,
dress?
yes. Pretending to be pregnant.
With the,
Why are they polluting our children with this
have you
nonsense?
seen that, Michael? Have you seen this clown, this black man with a baby? I mean,
Yeah, yes, I have, Donnie. And
and
we know why they're doing it. We know why they're doing it.
Because they
you know
want to
what? We
We
white.
need
know why
to
they're
stop
allowing it to be
allowing
done.
other people. We need to stop allowing other people to tell us what's normal because some of us have lost our damn mind.
Because we could never. Where's the censorship? Where's the? Listen, he's
Where's the outrage?
naked. They already said this was going to happen. They're planning this. They're perpetuating
And
the.
this fool he doesn't understand how he's being used
He
to
don't know
further someone else's agenda, nor does he care.
the money.
It ain't about
The
the
money.
money. It ain't about the money. You think it's about the money. It's demonic.
It is very demonic. He doesn't realize that he's being used as a tool and perpetuating what this darkness that he's putting out. That's
Donnie and Teresa, one thing that Maxwell Adusi said last night, which was profound.
mm-hmm,
He said, allowing anyone to define you,
mm,
you give them the power to nullify you. You
yes.
know what I'm saying? To nullify you. How much power have we given people as a community because that's the way that it is? And we don't step back and think about what we're really doing.
You know what's crazy?
Because to a point of our, you know, we have a self-awareness issue. Sometimes our self-esteem is lower than what we think. You know
Mm-hmm,
what I'm saying? That's why it was so important when you turned that mirror around on them ladies and they saw themselves in a different light. So all of a sudden they could look in that mirror for 5 minutes and begin to ask themselves who they were
mm-hmm.
because they begun to like what they see. We don't
Yes.
always like what we see. We've got some deep, deep issues in the community that are solvable if we get honest and stop allowing people to nullify us.
Right. Nobody should tell you or mandate you how you should be. That's another thing that you just touched bases on that I think is uh, a head-on collision with our black people. Nobody should tell you what you are, who you are, and what you're capable of being. Someone said to me the other day, Teresa, um, don't forget me when you make it. And I was like, when I make it, because I'm confused by what you're saying to me. Actually, it's an insult to me. When I make it where? I'm already successful. I don't make any money doing what I'm doing, but for me, the gratification, teaching, developing personalities with people, getting to know who they are, relationships, that for me is gratifying. My success is what I want to be, not what you want to be. So what I say, make it where? When you make it, don't forget me. And what would I be forgetting? What have you done to attribute to what I'm doing? You barely push like on social media. You never post anything that I do. This individual, but there are others who do, who I soundly appreciate you guys. Wholly, hardly, I appreciate you. But what do you mean when I make it? Because I'm confused at this point. I've written 5 novels. No, I'm sorry. I've written 10 novels. I've self-published 5. I've done uh ooglaws of movies. I can't keep count. I've portrayed uh roles with other people in their films. To me, I've done what I wanted to do, and that's every day I set out to do something.
Hmm.
Who are you to tell me I haven't made it? And where am I making it to?
That's profound. That's profound, Teresa. I have asked people, and this is part of our identity crisis and the humiliation we suffered as a result of how we have been treated and brought here through slavery, through segregation, the civil rights era. I asked people, I said, who are you? And you know what they do, particularly black males.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm an attorney, I'm a coach, I'm this, I'm that, but they never identified themselves as a human being.
Oh,
So the point is when they're stripped of what they do, because that's what you do, that's not who you are.
I agree.
When you're stripped of what you do because they fire you, or maybe life takes a bad turn, then having had that as your identity, then you're lost, depressed, and
Dark
you
place.
don't know where to go.
Right.
So as we begin to define ourselves as a human being and build from there to what we do and who we are, then we have a foundation that is unshakable. And this is the unfortunate part of most of our kids is that, slinging and the other things they do, the pregnant guys, etc., their identities are lost. And this is
No.
what they're trying to do, identify themselves by playing a character or doing something else.
Mm-hmm. What happens is we allow people to determine our worth. And I don't mean money. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Michael. I don't mean money. You can't tell me what I'm worth and who I am and what I can ascertain, what I can do, and if I'm successful or not. We allow these people who have nothing to do with our lives determine whether or not we so-called made it. Because I'm like, what do you mean make it? I get up every day, I work hard, I reach the goals that I set out. Even if I say, well, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna make me a cup of tea. I successfully done that today. I made my cup of tea. I'm just sitting here drinking it with you.
Yeah.
I planned this, I done it, and that's what I want to do. Then they go, are you, this is the second thing that really gets underneath my skin. And I have to take a breath before I answer because I don't want to say the wrong thing. You think and you can process things sometimes. That's why I had to learn how to think instead of just answering people. They say this to me. Are you making any money? Are you getting paid for this? Did you pay when we come? There are so many actors who come in groves to work with me and my colleagues. And they say, well, I want to be in it. And they just they just want to be in it. Money can come later. If you want money, if you work hard, it's going to come. It's inevitable. It's going to come. I don't concentrate on money because that's not what fulfills me. What fulfills me is you got to realize I'm a storyteller, whether it be on paper, whether it be on the big screen, whether it be sitting around a circle, whether it's like now, people listening to us. And thanks for listening, people. I'm a storyteller. And a lot of my stories are factual. They're true. So yeah, you get benefits out of making somebody feel something or remember something or change something or just cry because that's a good feeling to shed and renew. So I don't get monetary for that. I don't get the monetary exchange for that. But I write books. I get paid for that. But I got you to read my story. Sometimes I just give them away. It depends on what mood that I'm in. Or I think that person needs that content. A lot of my content is about recovery in my stories and my books. So you
Yeah,
can't
it's
wait.
interesting you say that. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. It sounds like I believe in the concept that you have to live your passion and your dreams. If you live your passion or work your passion and live your dreams, that life will take care of itself. And that the way to live for me, and I tell young people this all the time, in order to keep what I have, guess what I have to do? I got to give it away.
Right.
Time, talent, treasure. Because I'm a spiritual person, religious person. I believe that when they say you reap what you sow, when you
Mm-hmm.
sow time, talent, treasure to others
Mm-hmm.
without any look for return, it comes back just like weeds, man. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And that's a concept of life that we have to begin to understand to truly help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Not hindrance, but help. In order
Yeah.
to keep what we have to give it away. All the
Yeah.
time, all the talent, all the treasure. Of course, understanding what that means. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
know?
And we had to, and I know it sounds so cliche, but we have to learn how to love ourselves because every race outside of us, they they soul with each other. We don't have that quality in our race like we should at this point. You see the Asians working with each other. I don't want to get into name calling, but you see other ethnicities working with each other. You see they even have the money for college before the children can even walk. We're not financially literate. We don't know what it means to save. We don't know what it means to pour into. And that's one of our big downfalls. We have to learn how to help each other. Like with my family, um, we move money around. And it's simple. I can break it down to you. Let's say my son is having a problem this month, then I'm going to give what I can give to my son for this month, and then by the end of the month, oh, he's back on his feet and he gives me what I gave him. So I put it back where I got that from. My sister, we got a problem, she has a problem, this was happening, hey, I need so and so. When we move the money around, it's the same money, but your bill may be due the 12th, and I can give you what I got until the 20th, and then by the 20th comes, I put it back, and I can pay with you what I lent you, because we care about one another, we want to help each other. But a lot of families are like, oh, I'm not giving them nothing, I'm not doing anything, I'm not helping that person. But this is your family. When you're a family, you should be doing that already. You should be helping one another, moving the money around, figuring out how
Yeah,
can
well,
we make.
that's why I believe that education is the way for us. We're only in this country 3 or 4 generations removed from slavery, so a lot of this stuff is new to us.
Mhm.
So understanding unselfishness, understanding the power of family and education
Mhm.
on a whole. I mean, you have a lot of families that do very well and understand it conceptually. But for the most part, the reason we struggle as a people and people treat us the way we do as a people, which is why we're still fighting for civil rights or the right to be respected and treated a certain way. That's
Mhm.
why we've had only one black president and not looked at from a humanistic perspective because they can't feel our soul and the
Mhm.
fact that as a family that we are close knit and tight knit as a people. And this is where we can learn from our brothers and sisters in Africa who have
Mhm.
only themselves to rely on that look like themselves. And when they bring in someone from the outside, and those are the ones that are free from colonization, because, when you really look at the history of us as dark people
Mhm.
throughout this world, we had always been looked at from Europeans as different, as evil, as negative.
Mhm.
But here we've never had our own, and in Africa they have their own. It's their land.
So
That's the
when you
difference.
went over there, how did they receive you? Because did they
They
embrace?
love me. They love me because I came real,
Let me let
Oh.
and
me
I
let me let me
love
jump
them.
in. Let me jump in. Teresa,
Mhm.
he looks East African. He could pass for Ethiopian. He could pass for Ugandan.
Mhm.
Uh, he looks. I could pass for Ethiopian if I shut up.
Have you shut up? What is that going to
Now,
happen?
now in Tanzania, they knew I was not from Tanzania because there's prototypes to the face.
Okay.
Like maybe what does she look like? Mike South African?
I was getting ready to say not necessarily South African, maybe well not Senegalese or but you know we all gonna look like something because that's where we all originated from. It was
Yeah.
compelling. I ran into this guy in Nairobi. I
Hmm.
turned around. He was about 6'4". I thought I would drop dead. He looked like my brother. I mean, I felt something. I mean, it was the most surreal moment I had ever had in life meeting another person. I said, "Oh my God, he could be my brother or my son." You
Wow.
know, it was that kind of identity. I
Hmm.
told people not because it was necessarily a good thing, but it was an unusual thing for me. I went 24 hours without seeing one white person.
Wow.
That was profound to me.
I bet.
I was
Seriously,
there
it was
2 weeks.
profound.
I was there 2 weeks. Every black woman I saw had a dress on and a slip.
And a slip. Oh, a slip. Okay. I remember we had to wear a slip when I was a young girl. My mother, I was born in 68, and a slip went all the way to high school. You're wearing a slip. Now people don't know what that is. They don't.
And they also make skirts with slips already built in.
Mm-hmm. Already inside. Yeah. I was wondering that when you said you went to all those fascinating places. To me, it's fascinating. How did they receive you? Did they follow you around? Like, I want to go where you go.
I tell you this, Teresa, in my travels, they think if you're American, you're rich. I went to Jamaica
Auto-
and I had a little boy follow me for 2 miles. He swore I was rich compared to the standard of living there. We are rich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
they
are
don't,
rich. We are materialistically rich and culturally poor, and
Poor.
they understand and distinguish the difference in that immediately.
Mm.
Because all they gotta do is talk to you for 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'd rather be culturally rich and material poor because if I'm culturally rich, it will enhance me to
And lead you.
become materially rich.
Yes. That's when you
I've
can.
got it all wrong because my value systems have been totally misconstrued and screwed up since
Mm-hmm.
they've taken me out of slavery.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been around some people who so-called they say, well, we made it, they made it, they made it, we made it. They're regular people to me because God made us equal. To me, we're regular people. I can be with the best of them. I can be with the worst of them. I just love people. I don't put people on pedestals. I don't weigh how somebody is because of what they've done or accomplished. You're a person now. I'm fascinated by some people. Just like I'm listening to you talk, Mr. Michael. You're very fascinating. I can listen to you talk all day. I'm gonna get something from you. But that doesn't mean I'm going to put you on a pedestal. We got to stop putting these and idolizing people. That's what's happening with our children. And this TikTok, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think you should time these kids on these things. Enough is it's too much time. They on there, they doing what they want. You have to be careful what they're watching on Instagram. It's not for children. You have to decipher the stuff. For
Absolutely, Miss Teresa. You know, we have to take control of our soul.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to take control of our soul and we got to stop blaming our misfortunes on other people. Now, I believe that God has given black people the power of being the chosen people. That's why we have been oppressed for so long.
Yeah, we are the chosen. We need to
You
step
know
up.
what I'm saying?
And the
You
leader.
know, and we have to take advantage of that and the situation we're in now by continuing to love and educate each other and bridge across. And this is the beauty of Black News USA,
Mm-hmm.
because hopefully next year it'll be Black News International, because that communications of us talking with each other
Mm-hmm.
and representing each other. Donnie said to me in Africa on the show, he said, "What do they think about the United States of Africa?" Man, that's powerful because United States we identify with America, but United States are United States. You know what I'm saying? It could be United States and Africa, but my mind has been so polluted to think that United States was America, United States of America. he said United States of Africa. Maybe it's not united from a geographical perspective, but maybe from a communicative, educational, economic perspective, we can be united. The Uganda people have set aside 1,500 acres and the ability for us to have dual citizenship if we wish to come there with an economic basis to get us off the ground. Now, why would I look at that and say, man, must be something wrong? What's the hook to that?
They want us
There's
to
so
come
much
home.
for us to learn. There's so much. They see us oppressed as a people and culturally starved. And the
Mm.
result of that cultural starvation, we're killing each other. Our economies are falling to pieces. And the mistrust that we have with each other in our communities is such that they feel they have and they're compelled to help us solve this issue because we're lost people.
That's
Folks,
deep.
we're going to have to get up out of here.
It's been
But
great, Miss
any,
Davis. I look forward to meeting you.
I look
any, any,
you.
any
Yeah.
final thoughts, Teresa Davis?
Any final thoughts? Donnie Glover is the connector. Simple as that. That's my final thought for today. He's the connector. I'll be meeting you, Mr. Michael.
I look forward to it. Donnie Glover is the man. Donnie Glover is making this mission real, but he can't do it by himself because we got to protect him. We can be his bulletproof vests because people
Okay.
don't like this. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll be back this evening at 7 p.m. for Shared Spaces with Quita, Chet, and Dason Brooks. We have programming now that Mr. Haney is joining us 7 days a week. 7 days a week we are on, including Saturday at 10 a.m. and Sunday at 6 p.m. with Mr. Haney. My name's Donnie Glover for Teresa Davis and Michael Haney. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. Thank you both. I love you. I am somebody.
Somebody.
I
I
am.
am my brother's keeper.
I
Good
am
morning,
brother
world.
keeper.
Awesome.